Home invasion. Which 3 dogs that we've previously had on the channel would I want by my side if there was bad guys breaking into my house? Let's go.
Watch it. What's it? Yeah.
114.
So the first dog that comes to my mind when I think of a dog that I would want by my side during a home invasion is Spike. If you haven't seen the episode with Spike in, I highly suggest you go and watch that episode, because not only was his bite force impressive, he actually topped the pound for pound leaderboard. He is still number 1 at there, no one has beaten him yet. But just his sheer mentality, his intensity and his ferocity was really quite intimidating. In fact, I think out of all the dogs, he was definitely one of the scariest dogs that we've ever had on the sleeve on this channel. So Spike is a band dog. Some people have been saying they think he's a pit bull. I'll let you guys decide what you think he is, but Spike is just one of those dogs. It doesn't matter what you bring. It doesn't matter if the bad guys have brought their own dogs. It doesn't matter if they've brought baseball bats, or it doesn't matter if they fly an F-35 fighter jet into the back garden. Spike is not going to care. He's just going to go 100 miles an hour straight into the threat, and he's just going to absolutely ragdoll anything in his path. He really is an absolute maniac, and it's quite funny even thinking that somebody would attempt to break into the house where he lives. So let's talk about some of Spike's strengths and weaknesses. We've already touched on a few of his strengths, being his mentality, his ferociousness and his drive, but we've also got to think about his endurance. These types of dogs are designed to go to war for extended periods of time. You know, they can go 20, 30, maybe even 30 minutes, even maybe an hour of pure battling. You know, these dogs just like a good old-fashioned scrap. So he's going to be very effective in that type of scenario. The only weaknesses I could think being, I think he weighed 22 kilograms. So that is a dog where you're going to be able to pick him up. You know, he's not a Cane Corso, he's not a Presa Canario. You're going to be able to pick him up and slam him. I don't think that's really going to bother him too much. I mean, slamming him into a concrete wall, hitting him on the head, I don't really think that's going to stop him, but it is an option for the bad guys. So overall, I think Spike is going to be a solid choice for a home invasion scenario. I feel like you could just grab the popcorn, sit down, and whatever comes in, he's going to go and handle that threat straight away.
Yes.
So my next choice would be Jack, the German Shepherd. You know, these dogs are known worldwide for being very successful in police, military, working and protection roles. The German Shepherd excels in any form of protection bite work. It's what they do, and they do it really well. Now, Jack is an exceptional example of this breed. He is actually the hardest biting German Shepherd that we've ever had on the channel, with a huge score of, I think, 137 kilograms. So that's very close to Spike's score. So that is a lot of power in a bit of a bigger dog. So the reason that Jack is such a great choice for a home invasion scenario is his high level of obedience and the control that you would have over that dog. His owner is a very talented dog trainer who competes in trials. Jack has won multiple awards in these events and trials, so he is what you would call an elite level dog. And the thing about Jack is he's almost like a laser guided missile. Let's say you've got multiple attackers coming into the home. Jack is attacking one of them and the other attacker comes and starts on you. You know, you could call Jack off into a heel and you could guide him onto that next attacker. You know, he will switch targets with just a command. He's a very intelligent dog, and you would have a very high level of control with a dog like Jack. Also, having such a high level of obedience is going to be a good thing for you, and I guess also a good thing for the bad guys. Whereas in the situation with Spike, one of the problems you'd have with him is getting him off of the bad guys. Jack will out from the attacker and come into a heel or into a down and wait for the police to arrive, you know. Again, you've got a high level of control, high level of obedience, so that is definitely a bonus in a scenario like a home invasion. One of the bonuses of owning a German Shepherd is the straight up intimidation factor. If you're a bad guy and you know that that house has a German Shepherd inside, you're definitely going to think twice about going into that house, trying to break into that house. You know, they are such an intimidating dog breed and people know what they are capable of. So it's a great deterrent, even owning a dog like that, from any kind of bad guys thinking about coming onto your property. Overall, Jack is going to be an amazing choice for a home invasion scenario. You've got that high level of control, you've got the obedience, you've got the bite force, everything that you need in that situation, Jack's got it. So he's going to score very high in that scenario. So my next choice would be Kia, the American Bulldog. Again, if you've not seen that episode, guys, I suggest you go and watch it because that is a very interesting episode, and she actually surprised me with her bite force. Although you could say, you know, American Bulldogs, I think again, are underrated. Those dogs, especially the ones in the USA that I see some of the guys over there using, they use them as catch dogs. And they will use them to hunt wild boar or wild hogs. And I love watching those videos. Those dogs are insane. The strength and the mindset that it must take to go and battle those hogs is really impressive. Because, you know, those hogs fight back. They normally have, I think, I'm not sure of the breed, but there's some sort of hound that they use that will track down the hog, corner it, and they'll all surround it, and then they'll send in the catch dog, which is normally a dogo, a pit bull, or an American Bulldog. I think it's the Scott Johnson type that you guys use. I might be wrong there. Drop down in the comments if I've got that wrong. And the reason that the American Bulldog would be so advantageous in a home invasion scenario, let's say the guy who's breaking into your house is a big bodybuilder type guy. You know, these American Bulldogs are used to taking down those big, heavy hogs. You know, they're almost like the wrestlers of the dog world. They're very strong and they're used to taking down that big, heavy prey. So if there's a big guy coming in, they're going to have absolutely no problem tackling him to the ground. And Kia actually scored, I think, 132 kilograms of bite force, which is very impressive. You know, that is bone snapping territory. If she locks onto your forearm, you're really going to feel that amount of force. That's going to be excruciating pain, and the neighbours next door will probably be able to hear the squeals from the bad guys who are breaking in. The American Bulldog was actually bred by working class South American settlers, and they are very territorial dogs. You know, they were bred to guard property, fend off wild hogs, intruders, anybody who's going to try and come into that property, or any wild animals. You know, it's almost built into their DNA to protect the land that they live on. So they're going to do exceptionally well in a home invasion scenario. So these dogs are basically bred to perform well under pressure. You know, a home invasion is going to be a scary scenario for anybody, unless you Spike. You know, I think a home invasion for Spike would be like Christmas Day. But let's say you've got an American Bulldog that isn't a you know, a sport. It's not trained in bite work or protection. If it has those protection instincts in its genetics or its DNA, you know, it's going to know what to do. It's going to perform well in that scenario. It's going to do really well under a high amount of pressure. So overall, the American Bulldog, especially Kia, because we know she's got that high, hard bite force, is going to perform really well in this scenario.
133.
Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Drop a like, drop a comment if you want to see more of these types of video. You know, we can do some more dogs that we've had on the channel, maybe in different scenarios, and rate how we think that they would perform. We've actually got some very interesting Bite Force testing days coming up. We've got more Cane Corsos and more Presa Canarios coming up. And we may have a Caucasian Shepherd and a Bauble lined up. So I know you guys are going to look forward to that one. So thanks for watching. See you on the next one.